Hello.
All right, Dave.
I had to stay up all night to be
Can you
here.
just do that
this
again
early.
for us, please?
It starts like.
And because you play the chord backwards at the end, that changes everything, doesn't it?
Well, one note changes everything, and this is A minor. That's kind of sad, but normal chord. But you take one finger off and let a B ring, and it's changed everything. Well, a bit like life, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we've just been having a lovely chat off the air. Dave Stewart, Eurythmics, Songbook, and Time Traveller's Wife. Loads of things to talk about. So Eurythmics Songbook, Sweet Dreams, 40th Anniversary Tour tickets available at Dave Stewart.
ENT.
ENT, yeah, there's a bit on the end there, isn't there? Dave Stewart Entertainment, I suppose. That's that.
Short for entertainment.
DaveStewartENT.com, and the show, The Time Traveller's Wife, the musical. Tickets available at Time Travel. It's off the page.
Time Traveller's Wife.
I think it's
TimeTravellersWife.com.
Yeah.
Cool. Just tell us a bit about the corporate gigs you do. So
Oh, yeah, sometimes I do talks about creativity, left side, right side of your brain, how to think of things. It's a bit like Brian Eno's oblique strategies, And in the talk, I talk sometimes about how I ended up doing something or how they could think differently. And it could be for all sorts of different people. I've done it for Razorfish, internet companies or even radio stations or whatever. And as they don't know this, it's a bit like a magic trick, but I get them to talk about, what they think the sound of their company is, and I'll go, is it like that? Or I'll go, is it like this? And they all shout out and go, no, like that. And then is the bass line like, or is it like, and they all shout out, and what they don't realise on the side of the stage, I have a programmer, and I'm whispering, put that in this low mini moog sequence, or da-da-da-da-da. And in the end, I get them, what's the chorus of this company? And they all fight over it, and somebody says something, and they all go, yeah, that's good. Who can sing? And then they all sort of go, she can sing, Margaret from the bloody, whatever. And then they come up and sing. What they don't realise, as I leave the stage, I tell the programmer, just press play, and it's made into a record.
Wow.
And they just look really puzzled, but it is them.
What a moment, though, eh?
Yeah.
And then they've got that to take away. They've got a proper takeaway.
Yeah, I don't know, the whole orchestra as well, I have a lovely lady called Anne-Marie Calhoun, violinist, who would dictate and notate what I was saying, and they'd have iPads, and it would go along, and all the cellos, all the violas or whatever. And in the end, I go, and here's a song, and then a whole curtain falls. I'm standing in a circle in the middle, and the whole orchestra is playing the song that they do.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. It's
good,
good,
to be able to do
fun.
that.
Good fun.
But, just you saying that, we those of us who aren't musical, we have the option, don't we, to listen to ourselves and our thoughts and our procrastination or decision making or our options in music. And obviously, as you say there, once you ask someone, does it sound a bit like this? Once we're reminded that we can think like that, we do think like that.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, there's fights break out and everything, because like everything in life has got some kind of melody to it.
Yeah.
And if you don't find your melody in life, then that's when things can get complicated.
Oh, wow.
And you've got to get back on track, and so music really, well, if we want to go into music theory, but it's, everything is vibrating, even this sort of desk or whatever.
Yeah.
If you had a microscope, it's all just vibrations.
Moving,
yeah. And so music has the power to alter the way people think, and it's a very sort of interesting thing. So football does the same thing. See, if you have a match going on, not Newcastle, but a match going on, and the match has got everybody on the edge of the, tip your toes or on the seats or wherever they are, and then something really magic happens, and might be the trainer, it might be the manager, no, but it might be just a player who seems to have peripheral vision and just passes the ball and nobody realizes, wow, that's amazing. And then the guy gets it and all these moves happen and it's a goal.
Yeah.
Right? Now that moment is the space between your thoughts, right? So people don't usually get to that space between the thoughts. They're usually going, oh God, did I lock the door? Oh, I didn't lock the dog out, did I? Or all these things going on, a million things chattering in your brain. But to get to that gap, that space between your thoughts, it can be aided by meditation or various things, but music can do it and sport can do it. And, yourself, like doing running or whatever, that can do it, but people, I think if they can get to one thing that they like doing that does that, like once a day for a little short period of time, the whole day changes,
Yeah. So you need space for grace, but sometimes if you practice grace, it can give you the space. And it's like music, isn't it? Because, do we play certain kinds of music because the mood we're in, or do we become in a mood because of the certain types of music we play?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good question. See, if I was to play something like this. Most people, it would make them feel happy, good, right?
Unquestionably, yeah.
And then if I played something that was more dark, like even the opening chord, it's like, oh dear, what's going to happen?
Yeah, yes.
And, you can do all sorts of expectance kind of,
It's crazy, isn't it?
And so,
it's so crazy.
It is crazy, and it's kind of infinite possibilities.
Oh.
So, that's just one thing, and then you add another thing, and a cello, and a voice, and a this and that, and a melody. And that's what I was talking about when you said, what were you doing? I wasn't doing a talk as such. It was this great thing called The Other Songs by Andrew Lloyd Webber's sons, organised very quickly for the Ivor Novello charity. And people came on and talked about...
This is at the Palladium?
At the Palladium, yeah. They just talked about and played a little bit of songs that they'd written and how it came about. Because the stories of how songs come about are different for everybody. Some people dream them. Some people, they're on a boat on a river or something, and all of a sudden, doing, this whole thing comes to them. Or some people sweat in the studio for months, and it doesn't matter how it comes about, as long as it's a great song, right?
Yeah. So you talked about sweet, because I saw a clip of it online, and it looked like you were on tour giving this masterclass on how you'd written the Eurythmics songs. So you come in, and I asked you that question. You said, no, it was just a one-off thing, but it was about Sweet Dreams. Could you just, if you don't mind, giving us a mini version of the story?
Well, what I did on the stage, I had a drummer behind me and a keyboard player. So when I said, basically I had slept on the floor with a friend of mine all night in a place down in Bridgewater where the guy was making a prototype of a drum machine, and it was, you can see it on the Sweet Dreams video. I mean, it's got wood around the outside, which is odd for a computer, right? And it had this amazing ability that you could turn and tune the drums down so they didn't sound like the drum, that it was like a tom-tom didn't sound like a tom-tom. A snare drum sounded suddenly like something else. So I was playing with it. Annie was lying on the floor. She was a bit down, like, nothing's going to work. And, and all of a sudden, I got this drum tuned all the way down. It went boom, like a really loud, well, on stage at the Palladium, I had the drummer do it. Like,
it was really good.
It was a doom, like that. And I said, I thought, that's quite good. And then I put in the bass drum, 4 on the floor, like doom, 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 doom. But this boom was on the first beat. Now, in dance music, it's usually the backbeat. So, like Michael Jackson or whoever, like boom, ka, boom, ka. But James Brown was always into what's called the one. So, like, boom, doom, 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 doom. It's a completely different way of looking at it. So I had the bass drum going and this beat, and then a little sequence on the thing go doom 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 doom. And Annie sort of leapt up, interested all of a sudden. I was like, "What's that?" And she went to this synthesizer that wasn't ours. Weren't meant to switch it on. It was the person who was renting us this little space.
Amazing.
And it had a sort of stringy sound. And when she started playing together with everything, it was doom, 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 doom. And then we both looked at each other, and with only 3 tracks playing, it sounded massive, you know. And it still does to this day. If somebody puts it on a club, it begins, and it's 3 tracks, literally 3 tracks, meaning just 3 things playing at once. And it just smashes the floor, you know.
It is amazing. Beautiful story. You got to watch that online. You can just call it up on Instagram or YouTube. It's just fantastic. Would you consider taking a masterclass on the road?
Well, you gave me quite a good idea, actually. Yeah, it would be good fun. Because I can go through lots of songs and stories, a lot of Eurythmics songs, a lot of other songs. I think that's why they called it the other songs.
Right.
Right. But it would be interesting. I was actually thinking one time of starting. Do you remember that great film School of Rock?
Yeah.
You know, and where he goes mental in the classroom, Jack Black. And but I was thinking at one time of doing a sort of songwriting school, you know, because a lot of times when people go and attend any university course or whatever, and then they get into the real world and they go, oh shit, now hang on, this isn't exactly what I learned. Well, for instance, producing records, people go study, you know, the mixing desk and the knobs and this and that and delays and echoes and everything. What they don't take into account is like, oh, the drummer's fighting with the bass player, and now he's fallen on top of the mixing desk and there's blood on it, you know, and stuff like that.
Blood.
No, but you see,
So true, though. It's real life, man.
real life, you know, it's like you on the radio. Oh yeah, I think I'll be on the radio, and then there's all this mad stuff you have to deal with. And so making records is a bit like that, you know, as personalities. All sorts of crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, it's like Mike Tyson always said, didn't he? Everybody that comes into the ring to fight me has got a plan till I punch him in the face. Boom. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, it's and things happen. Really amazing things happen. Like I was talking to Annie the other day. We were having dinner in Los Angeles about 3 months ago or something, and she was very excited because she'd been on stage with Joni Mitchell, who she always loved from the minute I met her and before that. And I said, and she was telling me all about it, and I'd seen some of it online, and it was really amazing. I said, oh yeah, well, the Church Studios, which is in Crouch End, which Annie and I bought and was turned into a studio, very early on in Eurythmics' career, I was getting asked to produce people. So Daryl Hall came from America, and I was producing Daryl Hall. But Joni Mitchell came to sing backing vocals on a track called Right as Rain. And he was like, wow, where was I? I said, I don't know where you were at that moment, but it was amazing. And then during the recording of it, they were having a good time. And I said, hey, why don't we do a thing where everybody plays the wrong instrument? So, Joni, you play the drums, and I think it was Clem Burke played the bass, and, you know, Daryl played the guitar. And we jammed for about an hour like that. And Joni said, God, that was the best time I've ever had. And she was terrible. It sounded awful. We all were terrible. But it was such good fun.
Yeah. Was that at Joni's festival? She has her own festival, doesn't she?
Yeah, it was the beginning of it, I think. And Annie went, and lots of different artists who were influenced by Joni, they went and sang with her. And because she went through a terrible time, Joni Mitchell, for a while, very ill.
Yeah.
But,
She said apparently she did a 3-hour set at that festival, which is incredible. Dave, you look amazing. You look really well.
I don't know why.
How do you feel?
Terrible. I had to stay up all night to be on a breakfast show.
I'm sorry. I apologise. That's what you know. It does what it says on the tin. I hope you think it's worth it. We haven't quite finished yet, but I want to give another plug because it's going to be great. Eurythmics Songbook, Sweet Dreams, 40th Anniversary Tour with Annie's Blessing. Tickets at davestewart.com, davestewart.ent.com, and the show The Time Traveller's Wife, the musical, tickets at timetravelerswife.com. Tell us about that. That's a big deal.
Yeah, well, you know, I've worked on a couple of musicals before, you know, writing the songs and music for the musical. And a lot of people don't realise how long it takes to get it up on the stage. So one called Ghost the Musical, which I had, It took 7 years, I remember. We started in Manchester, and you keep changing things. It's a never-ending sort of songwriting quest, which I like. But also for the director or for the set designer, anything can go wrong at any minute. And right till the last minute of the show being on the stage, there's somebody going, hey, I can't change this dress in 12 seconds to turn into the... You know what I mean? It's like...
real life, mate.
Yeah, and so when those lights go down in a theatre, what's great is all that stuff's happening in a space of time that has to end at this time is all happening in real time. It's not AI. This is real.
Yeah, got it. Well, the film was big. The book was massive. And this show sounds like it's amazing. The Time Traveler's Wife, the musical. Previews have started, or they start tomorrow. Is that right?
It starts on Saturday, which is tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Got that. I've just got to apologise because Dave said a naughty fruity word, but it's very relaxed and didn't mean any offence by it whatsoever. So it would have been great to get Annie on the tour for the 40th anniversary tour. Of course, it's just great to get out there anyway, playing all this stuff.
Well, Annie decided quite a while ago, actually, she doesn't want to tour.
Right.
So she didn't tour. We haven't. This is the first time Eurythmics songs on a tour playing live for 24 years.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
And we were offered tours constantly, but Annie doesn't want to tour because it's the grueling part and the travelling about and then singing for 2 hours and then flying to the next place or getting in a bus or blah, blah.
I've got a question for you then.
Yeah.
Last weekend saw the launch of the Sphere in Las Vegas. U2 played the Sphere, the MSG $3 billion Sphere. It was so successful.
Yeah.
There's reviews in the paper today, even though the first performance was a week ago now, saying U2's Las Vegas gamble paid off. The Sphere is amazing. It was hyped, within an inch of its life, but it completely pays off. 16,500 speakers, 16K projection, outside and inside pixelated screens. There's one being booked for Stratford. They're building $1 billion version here in Stratford.
Yeah.
They've got planning permission for that already. Would she and you consider that? Because Eurythmics are made for that venue.
Yeah, Bono asked me that about 2 years ago, he told me what they were doing. Would Eurythmics do it? I don't know. I can't say too much, but Annie and I and Simon Fuller, our manager, have talked about doing something very special, but it's not in a sphere. But I can't say any more about it. It's in another kind
of sphere, different sphere. But come on, your music, Dave. It lends itself to that kind of technology. Can you imagine what they could do with that?
No, we both can imagine. In fact, we've talked back and forth, Annie and I, about all sorts of interesting things. Because for us, you see, when MTV happened, a lot of bands were like, oh no, what do we have to do? And stand and play a song. And for us, we'd already been making these sort of strange film vignettes, and I would write the story, like Sweet Dreams, and a cow comes in the boardroom, and very surreal. So you can imagine that, the surreal version and the way, it's like another art form. So, yeah, it is interesting.
Oh, I would love to see that. I'd love to see you too. They finish in about a minute, don't they? It'll be over before we know it. Helen says, I went to see the Time Traveler's Wife musical during the initial run in Chester last year, and it was off the scale amazing. So that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rachel from Enville, first ever concert I went to was Eurythmics at the NEC in Birmingham. I sat in the very back row, but it's a concert that will stay with me forever. I was at the same concert, Rachel, and it was literally one of the best concerts I've ever seen. Dave, we're out of time. That was half an hour, man.
Oh, well, that was quick.
Flew by, didn't it?
Yeah, time is jet
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time is the artificial division in eternity.
Love it. Do you want to play us out with anything on the old Geet? You don't have to.
Yeah. What would you like?
I don't mind.
Anything?
Anything.
All right, then. Anything...
Wow. Eurythmics, Dave Stewart, ENT.com to go and see Dave and a very, very happy band of brilliant, talented musicians and vocalists. Eurythmics Songbook Sweet Dreams, the anniversary tour. Why wouldn't you want to go and see that?